Welcome, class. Today's lesson, lesson 5-3, day 1. Today, strong mathematicians can solve problems involving different units of time. So you can take out your notebook, your pencil, write down today's date, the name of the lesson, and let's get started. So units of time, in this one we talk about base ratios, or like the relationship as we talked about in our past ones. So we would come up with all of these things that we need to know how many of this equals that one. I've always started with the bigger of the one to figure out how many of the smaller one. So now we're going to go through this chart and fill this out with the information that you can put on your information that you can use during your test to help you out. Because I don't care that you know the ratio, I know that you can be able to convert is my bigger thing that I like to see you be able to do. So 1 minute equals how many seconds? Probably guess that one. That would be 60 seconds. Said 1 hour equals how many minutes? That would also be 60 minutes. I think of a little clock. The next one, a day equals how many hours? Well, there are 24 hours in a day. 1 week equals how many days? Well, there's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That would be 7 days equals 1 week. How many days are in a year? Well, there are 365 days in a year. In a year, how many weeks are there? There are 52 weeks. In a year, there are how many months? There are 12 months. And in a leap year, notice that we had one this year, because that's where we have that February 29th date that comes up. We actually have 366 days. There's one extra day every 4 years. So you're going to pause the video right now. You're going to write down this base ratio charts, or relationships as I like to call them. That way they can help you out when you're solving today's problems. Also, another word today that we're talking about is a line plot. What is a line plot? A line plot is a diagram that shows the frequency of data on a number line, also called a dot plot. So notice if we had them look at this line plot, this is the number of siblings. This is an example to draw to help you kind of go with it so you get a visual. Notice that we asked people about their number of siblings that they had. Well, some people only had one sibling. So 2 people had 1 sibling. 1 person had 2 siblings. 3 people had 3 siblings. 1 person had 4 siblings. Nobody has 5 siblings. And 1 person we asked had 6 siblings. So notice this is a little chart to kind of show us those numbers. And shows how often they occur on a number line. So you can write down this definition along with this drawing to help you visualize what is a line plot and what does a line plot mean. And with that, we're going to go into starting with some examples today. So you have years and months, and notice there's 3, 6, 9, 12, so they've already got some different numbers in there to kind of help us out. And then hours and to seconds, we have 2 different relationships. So we'll start with this one. So years to months. Notice they don't start with 1, so I have to ask myself, what's bigger, a year or a month? Well, I know a year is bigger, so I'm going to put a 1 there. How many months are in a year? I can go back to my chart that was 2 slides ago. And look, that says that there are 12 months in a year. So that means for every 1 year, it equals 12 months. So how do they go from 3 years to 12 months? Well, they took 3 times 12, which equals 36. So the same thing's going to happen. I'm going to take 6 times 12, because once I know the relationship, now it's just doing the math. 6 times 12 is 72. 9 times 12 equals 108. And 12 times 12 equals 144. So once you know the relationship, all you're doing is you're timesing that number of how many you have by that relationship number that you found in the beginning. Now that we moved over to hours and seconds, how do they figure out that 1 hour equals 3,600 seconds? Well, to figure that out, they actually kind of made a step along the way. I'm going to show you that. Because why 1 hour equals 60 minutes? Which we know. And we know that then we know 1 minute equals 60 seconds. So what does that mean? So when we step along the way, we know that 60 seconds is in each minute, and there were 60 of those, so it was really 60 times 60 to give us 3,600, which is how many seconds are in 1 hour. Now we're doing the same thing. We're going to times these all by 3,600, and we're going to get 7,200 seconds in 2 hours. Same thing, we're going to times this by 360, and we're going to get 10,800 seconds. And as we times it by 4, we're going to get 14,400 seconds in an hour. So you can pause down that chart, write these two charts down to help you out, and how we used our relationships to help us be able to solve and fill out the information in the chart. So here we go, some other examples that we have to solve, right? So we have 36 minutes equals how many seconds? So to always do, I go back to the same before, I call them base ratios. I rather said I wish I would put the word down, relationships. Between the two units of measurement first. So look, I have a minute and a second. I don't even worry about 36. I think, what's bigger, a minute or a second? Well, I know that 1 minute, there are 60 seconds. So that means if I have 36 minutes, I'm going to have 36 groups of 60. So I'm going to have 36 times 60. So since it's a two-digit thing, I'm going to have two lines. 0 times 6 is 0, which is nice. 0 times that is 0, so I have a whole line of zeros. And now I'm starting my tens place value. I start right here, so I put a 0 in the 1. 6 times 6 is 6. 3 above it. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 3 is 21. Add those two numbers together. That means in 36 minutes, I would have 2,160 seconds. And the same thing we do with the next problem. I'm looking for that. What is that relationship? What's bigger, a day or an hour? I know a day is bigger. How many hours are in a day? I can go back to my chart and realize that there's 24 hours in one day. So now I'm going to solve 41 times 24 because I have 41 days. Each day has 24 hours. So I have 41 groups of 24. And for old time's sake, just because I would like to, we're going to throw it in the good old-fashioned area model. Since I have a two-digit by two-digit number, so I have 40 plus 1, 20 plus 4. Remember, you can do whatever way that works best for you. So 20 times 40 equals, well, I have 1020, so that'd be 2 zeros in my problem. 2 times 4 is 8. Said 20 times 1 is going to give me 20. Said 4 times 40 is going to give me, well, I got a 1 0 here. 4 times 4 is 16. And 4 times 1 is going to give me 4. Now I'm going to add up those numbers. I have 800. I have 160. I have 20. And I have 4, which would give me 489. So in 41 days, there are 984 hours. See, I'm pause the video right now and see how we worked our way through those problems to help us out. And another one is about reading a timeline. So here we go. It says, time spent reading. How many classmates did Bob ask each of them? So right now I have a line drawn, but I have nothing on this line except for a nice little label right here because we got to label our things. So this line shows me time spent reading each night in hours. So notice here's time spent reading. Notice the unit of measurement's hours, so I know. But now I'm going to start putting some of this information onto my chart first. So I'm going to have 0 right here because I'm going to start right from the top. So I have 0 hours. So 0. I have 1/4, so I'm going to put 1/4. Here next I have 1/2, so here's 1/2. 3/4, and then 1. Notice I don't have to put hours by that because I have that label already included in my title. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some dots. Let's go for it. I'm going to put some dots of these. So 0 had 0 students, which is good, so I'm glad that everyone's reading that one. The next one, I have 2 for a quarter hour, so I'm going to go at 1 dot here and another dot right there. I have 5 for a half hour, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I have 4 for 3/4 of an hour. 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to kind of make them all the same size so that it kind of looks comparative across. And 4 for an hour. 1, 2, 3, 4. They must have found some good books that they're enjoying to read. So the question now, I have 2 questions I can ask from this line plot that I just made. How many classmates did Bob ask about time spent reading? Well, all I have to do is count all of the dots he's got here. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So how many classmates? It would be 15 classmates. Remember, it's a word problem, so we need that label. And the next one, what amount of time had the most responses? So if I look, which one had the biggest? Well, I see 5 is the biggest. So what amount of time was 5? That would be half hour had the most responses. Had most responses. So you can write that down and pause the video and talk about how we work through the process of creating the line plot and answering questions off of the line plot. And now it's your turn. So you draw a big line in your notebook, label it box 3. Now your turn, nice and bold so we can see that. And then these are 2 charts I want you to solve. See if you can solve these 2 charts. And when you're done, you move on to the next one, which is 2 more problems about hours and minutes and years and days. See if you can find the conversion, that relationship, and then see how many are in it based on the number you have. And we also have a line plot, so notice you got time spent computing. You have some students on there. You can draw your line chart, answer those questions, and I look forward to seeing your work. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to write them down or share them out. If you have any strategies that you use to help you, make sure you share those out as well. So thank you guys for another great lesson.